Chapter 41. In the cab, the watch supervisor hung up the telephone, the instrument over which Willi Staub had made his demands. She looked at it for several seconds. "I think we'd better tell Captain Malone," she told Pete Wilbur slowly. "He's got a right to know." "Take your break now," Wilbur said. "I'll come with you." A Port Authority policeman on the balcony of the arrivals terminal used his walkie-talkie to find Hamilton, who said that he was with Malone at the baggage carousels, waiting for the child's suitcase. When Annie Green and Wilbur got there, they saw Hamilton first. "He's over there," Hamilton said and pointed. Wilbur and the watch supervisor turned in time to see Malone pick up a 26-inch valise of blue nylon. With his blonde daughter at his side, he walked over to Annie Green and sighed. "In case you're wondering why my friend is so down," Hamilton said to her, "it's because he thinks we haven't won the whole ball of wax. He's got no proof, you understand, but he's convinced that the late Mr. Staub had a spy in the cab. Wild idea, isn't it?" "Absolutely," Wilbur answered. "Wild. And right." "And there's proof," Annie Green added. "You weren't being paranoid, Frank. I suppose we owe you an apology." "I'll settle for the facts," Malone responded. "A police lieutenant named Arbolino found the spy, not us. He called us over a phone in some warehouse. He says to tell you that the bomb squad has cleared out the charges, and he was up in the main control room with the electronic equipment." "What about the spy?" Malone asked tensely. "I'm coming to that, Frank," she replied. Lieutenant Arbolino explained that he was standing beside a loudspeaker. He then proceeded to recap everything we'd said in the cab in the previous 3 minutes. He'd heard it all over the speaker. Now she held out her right fist and opened it. Malone recognized the object in her palm immediately. "In your phone?" he asked. "In the outside line. We had some noise on that line about 2 weeks ago, and a man came in to fix the instrument. He must have put this in the mouthpiece, turning it into a round-the-clock listening device." "So Staub's people heard everything said in the cab for 2 full weeks before the attack, and everything else until we hit that warehouse," Frank Malone analyzed. "Very cute." "It still isn't over," Hamilton announced. "How did Staub screw up the phone in the cab? And how did the terrorists slip a phony repairman with fake ID through our security?" "Maybe your security is like the air traffic control system," Malone said softly. "Nearly perfect." "Our system's fine," Wilbur defended loyally. "And it'll be even better when the OMB releases the $8 billion and we get the advanced equipment." The federal government's warehousing $8 billion collected in users' fees from airlines, Annabelle Green translated. "The Office of Management and Budget won't let us spend that money because it wants to make the national deficit look smaller." "That's crazy," Malone said. Then he noticed that his daughter was whispering something to Annie Green. "Excuse us, Frank," the watch supervisor said. "We have to wash our hands. We'll meet you at the main door out front." As they walked away, Wilbur spoke again. "Thanks for what you did tonight, Captain," he said sincerely. "Don't worry about our system." "Couldn't happen again, right?" "Let's say that we understand what happened and we know how to prevent a repeat," Wilbur declared. "Let's say I certainly hope you're right," the detective replied as they shook hands. The FAA official started back to the cab, and Frank Malone nodded towards the lobby. The music that he'd been hearing from there seemed to be getting louder. "Somebody's having fun," the detective said to Hamilton as they walked towards the sound. "Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that," Hamilton replied. "That's the Hasidim. It's their music." "Not the music. Fun. You were just having fun with the prince, weren't you?" the Port Authority lieutenant asked. "Omar? He's the only damn prince we met tonight." "Seemed like a decent guy," Malone said and relit his cigar. "I'm talking about the other guy, that Al Khalif," Hamilton announced as they zigzagged through the crowd. "He's definitely indecent." "You wouldn't really shoot him, would you? It was just a threat to scare him, right?" Malone's head was bobbing to the powerfully rhythmic music. "Catchy, isn't it?" he said. "You didn't answer my question." "Cultural diversity," Malone said warmly. "One of the things that makes America great." "For God's sake, Frank!" Hamilton protested. Now they entered the lobby. Everything was happening there. Everything and a half. Families were weeping in relief. People were shouting in joy. Reporters were yelling questions over the uproar. Police were cursing the blinding lights of the television news crews. Politicians were beaming as they basked in the attention, and the Kiev grandma looked happy but a bit bewildered. And the music was very loud. The Hasidim were singing, dancing, celebrating this night's divine deed as they had celebrated all the others. It wasn't only the Hasidim. A dozen Haitians had joined the passionate dancing, 3 booted Texans, a score of other people. Malone grinned as he saw Senator Bono pile into the line. There were the 2 Coast Guard helicopter pilots, several Asians, a blonde woman in $18,000 worth of mink, 4 nuns, and Samantha Wong. Even the earnest Associated Press photographer, whom Malone had avoided earlier, was out there, doing his best with the unfamiliar steps. Now a TV news producer spotted Malone and shouted in triumph. Then he pointed and yelled to his crew. "Here they come, Frank," Hamilton warned. "Here we go," Malone replied. The camera team surged forward and hit a wall of people, and more people, and still more. Dancing, hugging, sobbing, laughing, and utterly indifferent to the possibility that Western civilization might collapse if that television crew didn't reach Frank Malone. 2 other people did. His daughter and Annie Green worked their way around the outer edge of the joyous crowd and reached him at the door from the building. Malone pushed the portal open, and they all slipped out into the night. "Kate's been telling me about California, Frank," Annie Green said. Malone realized that she knew. She was aware of the separation, maybe more. "There's no snow in Malibu, Daddy," the child said. Malone looked out at the storm. "I think it's slowing down," he judged. "But we'll still have a white Christmas," Kate Malone said hopefully. "I guarantee it," her father replied. Annie Green couldn't help smiling. "I'd better get back to the cab," she said. "Now it's my turn to thank you," the detective said. "I'll do it more thoroughly on Saturday, of course." "Saturday?" "We're having lunch on Saturday," he announced. "Pick you up at 12:30 sharp." "You don't know where I live." "I'm going to find out, Annie," he said meaningfully. 12:30. Don't be late. Then Captain Frank Malone put down his daughter's suitcase and kissed an FAA watch supervisor. When she stepped back, she was glowing. Saturday, she agreed. "And I'll see you whenever you have that critique," he told Hamilton. "Listen, Frank," the Port Authority lieutenant appealed. "You're a good cop, Ben," Malone said. "You're not so bad yourself," Hamilton answered. They grasped each other's hands in silence. Then somebody came from the terminal, releasing another burst of infectious music into the winter night. "Definitely catchy," Frank Malone said as he picked up the suitcase. He began to hum the melody as they started for his car. By the time they reached the vehicle, his daughter was humming it too. As they started the motor, Frank Malone thought about what had happened this cold and stormy December night. The terrorists' perfect attack on the perfect system. The AWACS plane that arrived from some secret mission over the North Atlantic that the Air Force still wouldn't discuss. And Annabelle Green. Oh yes, Annabelle Green. It was going to be one extraordinary Christmas. He guided the sedan out of the parking lot, and when they reached the highway, he accepted his daughter's suggestion that they go on to songs whose words she knew. They sang the carols all the way into the city.